Hello and welcome to SKIA'S Sweethearts. My name is Chris Mepham. I have the absolute honour of being the GM and storyteller for this little mini adventure set in our Scattered Lands world. With me are four amazing people who have taken some time out of their schedules to come and play some Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition homebrew adventure with me. And I'm going to go in reverse order to how you're going to come in, because that's just how I roll. So first, Michelle, would you like to introduce yourselves? Tell us a little bit about you and who you're playing today.
Cool. Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Michelle. If you up to date on some of the heroes, you might have seen me before. I'm a member of Wicked Game with Lydia and just all-round D&D nerd. And tonight I'll be playing the Rogue Ranger Tiefling Skia of Skia's Sweethearts.
Skia is back. Alisha, would you like to go next, please?
Hi, I'm Alisha. I am an actor and editor for kind of video content and podcasts. I'm also on the podcast Dice in a Slice with my partner Josh and a couple of our friends and Tom, if you know Tom from Wicked Game. It's a nautical D&D 5e podcast. We release new episodes every 2 weeks. We're on a little hiatus at the moment, but we might be back by the time you watch this. So you can find us on socials at Dice in a Slice. And I am playing the monk rogue changeling Kaja today.
Amazing. It's nice to have Kaja back as well.
Woo!
Next is the first of our new additions to the Sweethearts. Lydia, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Lydia, and yes, I am also from Wicked Game. I am the DM over there, so it's really nice to be playing on the other side of things today. I'm going to be playing Delilah, the Delilah Devereaux. She is a kind of slightly psychic favourite of the cause.
Amazing. And last but definitely not least, Ele, would you like to introduce us and tell us a little bit about you?
Hi, I'm Ele, or Elle. I am a Twitch virgin, which is very exciting. So this is my first outing. I have the very great pleasure of having known or played with or been in musicals with everyone else on the stream. So I'm really excited to be welcomed into the inner circle. I am playing Sybilla, who is a inquisitive rogue, and I will be causing problems from the shadows from here on in.
Amazing. Looking forward to it, and I'm really pleased that everyone's got together and such a roguey group. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
Right. Well, before we begin, I'm just going to set a little bit of tone. To most outsiders, the Miscreant Empire is seen as a repressive place, where the authoritarian rule of its emperor, Zinthat Mistrim III, is carried out by self-interested nobles and toadying loyalists. A place where the will of the few grinds down those of the many, and where only inherited positions and those handed out by self-interested elite matter. In truth, though many of these views are not without fact, the Empire, like all nations in the Scattered Lands, is a place of shades and colours. There are citizens of all walks who live good and happy lives. There are those who rally against the chains that keep them held down, and there are places of such beauty you cannot help but wonder if the Imperial Court's propaganda that the Emperor's mandate of conquest and indoctrination is truly to protect the people and places of these beautiful lands. In truth, there are many among the citizens of these lands who, whatever they feel of the ruling class or how their homes became part of the Empire, want to protect the many people who make it up, who see that there is good in many of its people, from the lowliest pixie forced to remain in the confines of one of its fey enclaves, to the leaders of the high and great houses who do everything they can for anyone under their rule. This story is about some of those people and the lengths they will go to fight for those beliefs. Welcome to A Tale of Courtesans, my friends, and remember, anything you see here tonight is just a rumour and whispers in the shadow. And we, of course, will deny everything. So, before the game, my players all rolled to see who would go first to introduce their character properly. And we are going to start with Sybilla. Hi, Elle.
Hi.
The island of Requis is little more than a glorified port, clinging on to passing trade by being a convenient stop for vessels headed out to the borders with Ashur, through the Middlemire and onward north to the heart of the Empire. The island's current trade master is a half-orc named Harlan Stonetusk, a lover of coin and very little else. Rumours around corruption and interest beyond his office have often been whispered by the residents of the town, but no evidence has ever been raised to confirm a wrongdoing. That is until tonight. Under the shimmer of Brother Moon's gentle gaze, a single figure moves quietly through the shadows of Stonetusk's office, shuffling through sheaves of paper and checking under shelves and desks. Ellie, can you please describe the figure who stands in his office and her reasons for breaking in this evening?
So Sybilla is of medium height. She has pointed ears. Her hair is tied back in a sensible ponytail. And she's wearing a hood in order to obscure her identity. Her reasons for being in the office are she is rifling frantically through papers, trying to find some sort of evidence that she can bring back to her handler.
Amazing. Could you roll me an investigation check?
I would love to. Okay. It is 14.
14. You double check, triple check, and go back along the shelf that you did like 3-4 times. There must be something here. You pull out a couple of books, check some numbers, and then it hits you. There must be something beyond these shelves. You take out one of your daggers and just pry ever so lightly against the edge of the shelf. And there, just behind a couple of books, is a hidden compartment. You repress a smile and just tug, pulling through and finding what looks to be a locked safe. Do you have your thieves' tools on you?
I do.
Would you like to have a go at cracking the safe?
I would absolutely love to.
Roll me a sleight of hand, and I think you're
It
proficient.
is a 19.
19. I was going to say, you are proficient with your tools as well, aren't you?
Yes.
So you can do that with advantage if you wish.
I can see if I can beat 19. I cannot.
You cannot. 19 is a good number anyway. You slide in the tools, you twist. There is a small click, and the door gives way. Inside is a pile of hastily written dockets with names and places. This is the evidence you've been looking for. The locations that he has been snatching Fae from, and the people he is selling them to.
So
what would you like to do with those?
Sybilla's going to pull the papers out of the safe. And I think there's just a tiny part of her that can't help but scan down some of the lists of names, looking for people that she might have met or family names that she recognizes. But then something clicks in her head. And she's sort of, I could be doing this at another point. And then she tucks them deep into a sort of secret pocket that she's sewn into her cape. and then makes to leave.
Amazing. You get to the window, which is still slightly open from where you broke in earlier. You scan below. You can see the troops, the mercenaries he pays to guard his estate on their cycles. And you count. 1, 2, 3. Make me a stealth check as you try and get back out into the shadows.
7.
7. You are moving silently, and suddenly there is a clatter behind you, and you realise that you hit a loose tile. Before you can do anything, it spins out over the edge of the roof and crashes into the courtyard below. You hear shouting, and somebody comes round the corner to investigate what it is. What caused that noise? What made that disturbance? 3 guards come into view. You press against the side. Do you run or do you try and hide again?
I'm going to run really fast.
You sprint off. There is shouting behind you. Somebody has definitely seen you. You bounce over the rooftops. I'd like you to make an acrobatics check to get through the next section.
18.
18. Bouncing off of rooftops through a couple's window who are not expecting it. You roll to the feet, apologising profusely as you bounce to your feet. For a
I
second,
congratulate her on her flexibility and go.
You open the door, dart down their stairs and out through the side, keeping going off. You can hear guards running out the estate, but they're too far behind you at this point. You keep moving. You settle down to an even pace and make your way to the edge of the city, where a cart is waiting for you. In it is the person who hired you for this particular job, or pulled you in, I should say. It's a human woman. You've met her a couple of times. Quite sharp, sort of school mistress type features, which kind of gave you pause when you first met her. She simply goes by Summer. To be honest, when you first met her, she did not give the impression of somebody who would fight so hard to protect Faye. But as you have worked with her a number of times, you realise she actually genuinely does care about keeping everybody safe. You dive into the coach, slamming quick and pulling the door closed behind you. She barely looks up from the book she's got open, but holds out a hand.
It went really well. Really well. Really well.
I'm certain. Were you seen?
Not for a long time. Just for like a couple of seconds, and then it's gone.
Oh, we can just pass it off as a curious child breaking into an open window or something, I'm sure. May I see what you found? She scans the...
Of course. And she
She actually gets up and sits next to you, and she scans and she circles certain names. She starts jotting down in her notebook, and she circles certain names. I cannot do everything for everybody, but I think we can get some of these people back to where they should be, where they're safe. You did well tonight, Sybilla. You should make your way home, though, and lay low for a couple of days. I'm certain your family would like to see.
Yes. Of course. Yes. Okay. Does the carriage stop?
Carriage is going. You know that she will drop you off somewhere where you can pick your way safely home. You go on. She sits in silence, and this is very much her thing. She stays quiet for the rest of the journey. And after about 10-15 minutes, she stops and opens the door. You find yourself on the dockside with a small sky ferry waiting, with a bored-looking dwarven man who's clearly been paid a lot of money to mind his own business and wait
Sybilla rolls, or not quite rolls, but like stumbles out of the carriage. She's pretending to be really drunk.
Cool.
And she kind of just sort of meanders, like goes, goodbye, bye, thank you, bye. And then just sort of gets into the boat and sort of sways gently to herself.
Make a quick performance check for me.
That is 15.
15. Yep. I think anybody who is passing by, there's a few souls kind of just see that this nice lady has just clearly dropped this drunk young lady off so she can get home. The ferry kicks off and takes you onwards. You're actually a few days away from home, but once you are out of the general vicinity of where you did the crime, you feel safer to be yourself and go back to your other life. You wind your way back home. Coming back probably, I'd say about mid-morning, finding the estate, as always, very much empty, as both your parents are out on whatever mercantile business they think is more important than greeting you. But what is interesting is you find that there is a letter sitting, waiting for you. Penned in a neat hand.
So Sybilla picks up the letter, tucks it under her arm. She goes to the kitchen. She makes herself an enormous sandwich, and then she sits down at the kitchen table to read the letter.
The letter has a very simple invitation to a private viewing of a painting in the town of Tenfalls. With it, however, is a dance card. Being who you are and how you have been trained, you quickly pick out the name Skia. And another message in cipher throughout the dance card. Prepare for a break. Come alone. This is a calling card from the courtesans. That is where we will leave you for now. Next up, our eyes go far, far north to the region of Belvoir, particularly to the Ravorkas estate, familiar to some of you who have watched our adventures so far. A old building made of granite and brownstone with heavy wooden windows and glass that is tempered both by magic and artifice. Despite its generally imposing demeanour, this is a warm place, well liked by its residents. It is a place that holds a lot of fond memories for a lot of people. One of which we are about to meet. On the islands of Belvoir, the Ravorkas estate is one of the oldest home to the Dragonborn families, a place that holds history for both the Empire and the Dragonborn people. Its custodians are known for their diligence and fairness to those they came to rule under the Imperial banner, and it's barely a month goes past that the clan's matriarch does not hear a petition of families wishing to travel across the Empire to settle in Belvoir itself. Presently, the old stone mansion and its wooden-framed windows are under the watchful care of the matriarch's daughter and her youngest child, Cambor Ravorkas, a clever, strong-willed woman who is proving to be every bit the leader her mother and grandmother were before her. At present, she finds herself entertaining two guests. One arrived recently and unexpectedly, but always welcome. Another arriving today unannounced with intentions unknown. Lydia, please can you describe the person who is walking in step with Cambor this morning as the tall, white-scaled Dragonborn checks the details with the household staff and what is Delilah's demeanour right now?
Well, Delilah is a rather kind of slender, elegant. She's probably got her arm in arm with Cambor, pale hair in kind of a styled bouffant that covers her ears, and she's probably smoking from her cigarette holder that is long and slim, and at the end has the little shape of the dragon. And she has piercing purple eyes with gold flecks in them, pale, creamy skin, quite overly made up, and just very comfortable in the presence of her friend, talking about all sorts of things. Yeah.
Cambor stops and talks to one of the under butlers and asks them to ensure that the fine silverware is prepared should our guest decide to stay for lunch, in that very kind but direct way that she does. And she turns to you and she goes, I've forgotten something. I feel like I've forgotten something.
Darling, you never forget anything. Everything's always perfect.
Yes, well, I just feel they're always judging me. They just want me to be mother, and I don't want to be mother.
You'll be better than your mother. Of course you will.
And she just clicks your hand. She goes, you are ever the flatterer. It's no wonder Rock took you under his wing. And she just squeezes your shoulder. So, the question is, why is a questing blade requesting audience with us today?
Well, I was going to ask you quite the same thing. What are we looking for? What are we digging around for? What are we trying to find out?
I want to know what his purpose is. If one of the paladins of the Eastern Dragon has come a-calling, there must be a reason for it. Now, either it's Matrim Risford, their little leader, poking holes at me again, or somebody else wants some help.
We can always give help.
We could always do with a few allies in the church as well.
Exactly, yeah.
Anyway, you didn't come all this way just to be my ear. Why did you come? Come on, be honest. It wasn't the rug.
I came with gifts. Of course I came with gifts.
The rug is beautiful, darling. I love the rug. I really do. Are you okay? Are you in trouble? Do you need anything?
No. Why the interrogation? Can't a lady just come and see her dearest friend?
She can, and she's always welcome here. She knows that. But, yes.
If you need my specific talents, you always have them.
Amazing. Well, I could do with them today. Anything that I don't miss, anything I miss, I know you will pick up.
Nothing gets past me.
Amazing. The rest of your morning is very much like this, like subtle kind of nods to what they need to set up and things, decisions over food and things. It's the boring side of what you love about court, but it's the side that you're quite happy for people like Cambor to take over and deal with. It gets to around about mid-morning, and there is a sound of a cart coming up the drive. A few minutes later, the questing blade Unsen Marvroff, a gold female dragonborn of imposing stature and very serious energy, enters into the building and is introduced to you both. As expected, you retire to one of the guest rooms to discuss just general politics and small talk. And then, after a few minutes, Campbell just nods to you quietly.
I'd like to say that I've been just gently putting tendrils out, I think, as is her habit in whatever. But even just the very first moment, perhaps, as they come in, just getting those initial thoughts, just getting the flavor.
The echoes of the fort are actually more guarded. It is well known that most of the family Revorcus have the gift. So many people coming into their home do guard their thoughts.
I won't dig. Not now.
But what you do get is things like a relief that Cambor is welcoming, and a relief that you're here, because it means that Cambor feels confident and comfortable. And I think you find that a little interesting, because it's almost like they want Cambor to like them.
Okay.
And they're not as good at the social side of things as you are. You find that this woman is definitely a woman of action. She comes with a greatsword, which she leaves in the foyer, which she often looks like she's suddenly surprised it's not there. This is a woman, like her uniform is bright and her plate mail is clean, but it is well worn from long days on the road.
In which case, I think in the initial chat, in the initial sort of small talk, I'll try and push them just out of their comfort zone a little bit by talking a lot about like the tea, about very like genteel things like, oh, I had this blend of tea once when I was, in the South a little bit more. But of course, when you're in the capital, you tend to have this kind of tea. And of course, you won't find finer porcelain than what you get here. And just try and keep the chat in a steady arena that will keep the questing blade in a slightly unsettled place.
Amazing. Roll me a persuasion check, I think, for this one. So don't feel you're deceiving them. I think you're literally just trying to push them in different directions.
That is a 24. No, wait. 24.
24, nice. This poor woman is clearly out of her depth and tries everything she can to kind of keep up with you all, but it completely keeps her offside, and you do get this surface fort, and I think both you and Campbell get it, and I think there's a passing moment between the two of you, because you are familiar enough that you almost accidentally touch each other's minds on occasion. Maybe she isn't what I thought. Maybe she isn't up for fighting.
Wait, her?
Thinking about Campbell. I think you've kind of sold this idea that you're kind of like into your tea and social stationing and things like that, to the point where you've kind of put her on the back foot.
As I think I do whenever I read people's minds, I kind of file their mental cadence away in my little Rolodex of people's brainwaves, like a creepy person. And I think I'll just sort of I don't know, it seems kind of it seems clunky at this stage, but I will definitely just I'll do something like, if you're going to teach me defense, you have to go easy on me, because I am a beginner and you are merciless in the dueling pits. Campbell, I'm a lady. I was not trained in these things.
Amazing. And Campbell picks up what you're putting down very quickly, and she goes, well, I did tell you several times you have to lift your rapier higher on the right, or people are not going to. And at this point, the questing blade, my lady, if you would allow me at some time, I would be more than happy to add to Campbell's ministrations.
Now, I imagine that you have a great deal to teach a novice such as myself, but I think there are a few that can go above and beyond what Campbell can do. I was extremely surprised. And really, all I'm used to lifting is my cigarette holder.
They kind of give Campbell this look as if they hadn't sort of appreciated that. And the conversation goes on, and eventually Campbell gently slides over another piece of cake and says, in very gentle terms, "Questing Blade, I am honoured that you have chosen to come and see us today, but I am slightly confused as to what I can do to aid your cause. Revolcus welcome all faiths, no one greater than any other in their lands. It is the best way we have found to keep our people happy." And she holds up her hand. She goes, No. Put it mildly, my lady. Your recent interactions with the head of our church have been noted by several within our number. Not everyone believes as he does in terms of positioning the Empire as greater than everybody else. And I simply wanted to get a feel for you that should we need people to support anyone in a future election within the church, whether you would be willing to voice any concerns you might have or support anybody who has a gentler touch. Yep.
When they're talking about him, who are they talking about?
Martin Risford, the current head of the Church of the Eastern Dragon. Now, you know this for a fact that Campbell hates this man. She had to travel to Klaus Kern with him previously, and it did not go well for either of them. They both had a really unpleasant time.
Right.
He is pushy at court. He has the Emperor's ear, but he seems to think that his voice and the voice of his church matters more than any of the other churches, or indeed some of the other high houses. And it's kind of upset a few people.
Right.
So you can roll me an insight check if you want to kind of...
I would love that.
Yeah.
What is that? I need to switch a light on in my room. Insight. 13.
13. I mean, the Questing Blade is not a socially adept person as much as others, so there's no real layers to pull back here. They are literally desperate for allies. That there is clearly a struggle in the church, and they are looking for allies.
If I'm putting two and two together,
yeah,
they think that this might become an actual physical battle if that's what if they were looking to Campbell to be physically capable.
Yeah.
They
more
think
along the lines, maybe I explained that badly, but more along the lines of they're looking for somebody who has a fight to them, who's not just going to roll over
them. Okay,
yeah.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. And I think that they feel more reassured now.
Mm.
And I think Campbell looks to you.
I think I use my telepathic speech with Campbell and say, "Darling, thoughts?" I think you know what I got from this, but the Questing Blade has underestimated you somewhat. Thoughts and feelings, as I'm just delicately placing a bonbon in my mouth and saying it.
The thought that comes back is, I think she's desperate, but I don't want to turn her away. As you understand, as a great house and as a high house, we cannot be seen to take sides. on any conflict. And this is what she's saying out loud at this point. However, she smiles. You will always have a friend here, should you need sanctuary or someone to just talk to about things. And you can see the questing blade kind of is trying to kind of process what's being said between words here, and she seems satisfied, and she nods.
At the surface thoughts doing the same thing.
It's like, does that mean she favors us, but she just needs to be careful? I think that's what she's saying here.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of sounded to me that she was like, I'm not going to really help anybody except individuals. I'm not helping houses. I'm helping people. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think she's saying if you ever want
what a sweet little dum-dum.
Good with a sword, good, very pious, good person, not smart, not socially good at this sort of stuff, which is ironic considering her position.
Yeah, that's another thing I think that Delilah is just going to file away. Doesn't really have the social chops for the position that they're in as like a weakness.
Yeah, that sounds like a good thing to file away, either as something to be wary of or to use at a later date.
Quite.
The rest of the meal goes on very well, and eventually the questing blade politely makes her departure.
Yeah, Delilah does an awful lot of, oh my goodness, so soon? You're not going to stay? Why not stay a few days? Everybody stays a few days. Oh, it's such a shame. Well, if you must go.
She looks very uncomfortable with the idea of sort of having to stay, but she does all the polite things, and she says it would be an absolute pleasure to stay with both of you and spend some time, but my mission carries on forth, and I have other people I must see as soon as possible. But she smiles and goes, but I have had a very, very pleasant afternoon with some incredible company, and I feel wiser for it. She leaves. The staff clear away things, and Campbell waits for the appropriate moment before she puts her head in her hands and goes, oh my goodness, that poor woman.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean? What on earth do you mean?
Oh dear. Well, she clearly is not suited for what she's trying to do.
Well, she's trying, and that's very important. But I would be careful about. I'm sure that she's a great ally, but aligning yourself with somebody who really can't hack it.
Yes. I mean, she's a wonderful blunt instrument to throw at something later. If I need something punching, I'm certain to call her first.
Quite.
You were a delight. Thank you so much for staying.
I feel like I did absolutely nothing, but the cake was delicious as always.
Yes, I have to say the cook has outdone herself today.
How they get the cream like that? Creme anglaise, wonderful.
I dare not ask unless she tells me.
Secrets. Must keep it secret.
I must just write up some notes. I will.
I'll take a turn around the grounds. Don't worry about me. I can entertain myself all day long.
She gets up and kind of smiles and lets you. I'll be back in an hour or so.
Mm-hmm.
You are just leaving the room about the same sort of time. You see that she stops on the stairs suddenly. Make an insight check, and with advantage because you've known this woman.
I'm not afraid to get up in that brain if I need to. Yeah, because that's our advantage.
Yeah.
No, absolute crock of shit. Both times. That's a 6.
A 6.
Can I use my telepathy?
Yeah, you can. I mean, I think she's more guarded, and she's
again. I'll just keep casting detect thoughts.
Okay, so she's receiving. You can smell the arcane energy. She's receiving a message. And she has her thought shields up. She is deliberately keeping her thoughts closed down.
I'll go straight to her and hold her hand. What's going on?
As you come up the stairs, you hear her say, I understand. Do what you must. Bring him back. She stops for a second. She is holding your hand, and you can see that she is composing herself. My stupid brother has got himself in trouble. He has his friends with him, and she just holds both of your hands in hers. But I must go to him.
What kind of trouble?
He's gone and got himself hurt. His allies are with him. They are trying to make sure he gets back and recovered. You can tell she's withholding a little bit, but it's more of a case of she doesn't know the full details as well.
Let me come with you. If anyone can help Rock, you know it's us two together, side by side. Let's do this.
I need to go under the guise of a mission to Cloud's Cairn. I will, of course, let you know. You must stay here if you need to.
Call me if you need me.
Yes.
I would like any excuse to lord it over Rock that I helped him for once. So please, I can teleport to you in just a minute. So
Fantastic.
call me if you need me.
She just pulls you in for a hug.
I hug her really tight. I think I can, like, despite my bloody 6, I think I can sense with the shields up, I can sense that this is really serious stuff. So I give her a really long, tight hug.
Obviously, Court are going to talk, but if you can minimize damage there, that would be great.
Of course. Would you like me to say a specific cover story?
Sudden trade issues that Rebecca Ryder wanted me to talk to her about directly. I think that's fair.
Mm-hmm. Do I know Rebecca Ryder? Is that a made-up name?
No, you know Rebecca Ryder. She is the mayor of Cloud's Cairn, one of the most important figures in the Free Nations to the south. Even in the Empire, she's very highly regarded as... and you know that Campbell knows her personally, because that's one of her duties for the Empire. Right, well, I need to pack, but I will say goodbye before I go. Do not worry. And you feel like she's kind of telling you not worrying, but you feel like she's projecting her own worry. It's like, don't worry. It's going to be okay. He's too stubborn to leave us in peace.
Yes, quite. Quite. All the same, give him a little light slap around the face for scaring us all.
Of course. And I'll make sure he comes home so you can do so yourself sometime.
You know I love a slap. It's my favourite. Public if possible.
It's been far too long since he had a slap from you. Right. I will see you anon. As you turn to go back down the stairs, you notice one of the staff has been holding a respectful distance away.
I do hope it is a respectful distance away, not listening in.
No, not listening in. Could see this was very much a personal thing, is held back. It's a young lady, relatively new, but she has in her hand a letter. And she said, I'm very sorry, Lady Devereux. This came for you whilst you were in the meeting. I didn't want to interrupt.
It's quite all right. Take it. Open it up.
In a familiar penned hand is an invitation to a private viewing in Tenfalls.
I have to tell that girl about her penmanship. It is disgraceful. It's disgraceful.
It actually looks like it's from Sabina Rithin.
It's impeccable. No finer penmanship in all of the scattered lands.
On the card, inside is a dance card, which you automatically know is a call to arms by the courtesans. You have been asked to dance.
Is this the absolute regular way that it's always done, or does this feel like it's a quick smart?
It's just
feel?
a quick smart
Ooh.
sort of feel.
Okay. I'm gonna pack my bags.
Yep. I think you wait long enough for Campbell to go first, and then you make your excuses to their
Bye
household.
bye, darling. Bye bye.
You chat to the estate and just say that whilst Campbell's away, you're going to go. I don't know. What are you going to do? What's your plan here?
I think I will. I've been to this place before, right?
Yeah.
Then I'll cast a teleportation circle and go straight there.
Oh, amazing. Well, we will pick up.
I've got to be first, darling.
Amazing. So you find a nice place to cast your teleportation circle. I think this estate has a specific room for that sort of thing.
Yes, and I think additionally to that, I'll just sort of cloak up and teleport to a spot that I know that isn't like, I'm not gonna like step out onto the main thoroughfare like ta-da. I'm gonna just in a little like spot outside town, maybe a little bit, so that I'm a little bit more surreptitious about it all.
Amazing. And we will pick up there in a little bit.
Thank you.
Next, we have Kaja. So if you bear with me 1 second. The market town of Toldit is a busy and cheerful place. Sitting in the heart of Parn and under the watch of the magistrates and courtiers from across the empire, it is not without crime. Those who would attempt to take that which belongs to others exist here. Pickpockets and petty larcenies are common, even under the stare of the dragon guards positioned all around the colourful market. It is one such young halfling that we see deftly slipping through the crowd, their eyes fixed ahead of them as if willing others not to perceive them. With a sudden spring, their hand whips out a small blade, cutting the strings of a laden purse belonging to what looks like an affluent merchant without the common sense to hide his purse where it cannot be seen. The moment is swift, practiced, and the halfling is gone before the merchant or anyone else can notice. I say anyone, but one person does mark the event. The third such time they have done so this week. Sitting on a market-side cafe, Alisha, please can you remind us who Kaja is and what form they presently have?
Oh, fun. What form do they presently have? Kaja, in her normal form, is kind of angular features. She has a slight point to her ears. They have a kind of oil slick nature to their hair. So in some nights it's blue, then it's purple, then it's black. She tends to dress more androgynous. So she has a kind of oversized blazer that has detailed stitching that's kind of geometric, but also sometimes looks like it could be eyes. Loose shirts, trousers, and I think her form currently is just like a regular looking guy, someone inconspicuous who kind of just blends in with the general hubbub of whoever might happen to be in the town that day.
Could almost say cafe guy cafe.
Almost,
but not quite. This young person is a potential recruit that one of the handlers in the area asked you to check out. She's young, she's brash, but she's very skilled. The only thing that you haven't figured out yet is whether she has the heart to protect others than herself. You watch And I think you have a notebook open, and you're kind of in cipher. You're kind of making notes on where she goes and how she approaches things. And then something. Go on. Yeah.
No, you go. Tell me what happens.
You notice that a couple of drunk humans stagger out of the alleyway that she usually uses for her getaway, and they are blocking her path. And they're doing that thing which indicates that whatever their thoughts and feelings in relation to that, they do not have good intentions for this poor girl. Would you like to do anything about it?
I think Kaja will just move so that they are closer to the scene and just kind of see what the halfling does or what the two other people are doing, just so she can intervene. But she kind of wants to see what the little halfling is going to do in this situation.
So the halfling, where you get there, make a perception check for me, actually.
That is my maths is terrible. 19.
A 19.
Yeah.
That is really good. You can see she has very cleverly stashed the coin purse under her belt at the back. And she has also very craftily moved her knife, that little tiny pickpocket's knife that probably won't do more than make someone bleed, under her fist. So it can't be seen by them, but she's ready to lash out if she needs to.
Nice.
With that nicely high perception, you can also see there are 2 or 3 other halflings, younger than she is, bodily hiding themselves just behind some crates in that alleyway. And they look like they want to help, but they're too young and too small to be able to do anything. It's really obvious to you that this is what she has left as a family.
Oh, cute. What are the drunk people saying? Are they doing anything? Are they just being obnoxious?
They are being obnoxious, but it is kind of verging on the whole, but you're very pretty and, would be worth the time of day.
Gross.
Yeah, horrible drunk men.
Yeah, I think as soon as that, Kaja just kind of walks over in her, regular cafe guy form. I should have picked something. I'm seeming like a one-trick pony now. I promise I'm more varied with other characters.
You're undercover.
And she's just like, all right, guys, move along.
Fuck off, shorty. And one of them just goes to throw a punch at you. With a 13 to hit, which I imagine doesn't do anything.
No.
So how does this look from... Because I think Kaja's too skilled and too fast to kind of let anyone on the street see what's happening. How do you deal with this attack?
I think as this person goes to level their punch, I think Kaja just grabs their fist and almost dancily moves them through so that they're in the shadows of the alley, so that they're out of the main street, and just kind of pulls them so that they're out of regular view. And I think she would then change her form to some scary ass looking dragonborn, maybe.
Nice.
And just holding his fist and arm in the darkness, she just stares into his eyes and is leave.
I will have you roll an intimidation check, and I think with that nice transformation and the fact they're drunk, you can have advantage.
Woo! Fuck up the drunk man. That is what's my intimidation? Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Yeah, his brown breeches go a little darker, and he desperately pulls away, and he and his mates scarper through the crowd, knocking over a few people. You actually do see one of the guards kind of starts chasing after them by automatic multi-pilot They look like they've done something wrong. The halfling, however, doesn't seem intimidated. She has her knife out and is standing between you and the children. And she goes,
Oh, sweet.
okay, that's a neat trick. I will give you that. You've been watching me for a couple of days. Who are you?
Yeah, Kaja will go into her normal form, so like base Kaja.
You hear one of
And
the
she's-
kids goes, oh, she's so pretty.
Love that. These kids are great. And she's just like, oh, it's pretty perceptive. When did you first notice me?
Well, it was really like I noticed you the first day, but I didn't think anything of it other than seeing if you had a purse. And then the second day you were in the spot, but you were a little further over, but I still noticed it was you. And then today you were in a third spot, but you were always where you could sort of see what was happening in the crowd. I know this because that's what I do when I'm looking for a mark.
Huh. And even though you knew you were being watched, you decided to just keep stealing people's money, huh?
Gotta eat.
That what you're using the money for? Just food?
Yeah. And she kind of goes, all right, well, come with me. But you try anything, and I'm not afraid of stabbing.
Hey, me neither.
Okay. I'm trusting you with a lot of stuff here, but you seem good.
Oh, Kaja's a bit like, that's really sweet, but also a little bit naive, but it's very, very sweet. She's like, she'll learn. Don't trust anyone, hun. Never.
She walks you down the streets, and these two kids kind of bounce out. She goes, we're taking her to the hideout. Maybe she can tell us a story or something. I think she's here for other reasons. She walks you down and through narrow fields, and I think it's quite easy for them to kind of go down some of these alleys, but it's a bit tighter for you as a full-grown person. And she leads you under fences and round it. In fact, I'll have a survival check from you.
Ooh.
See if you can remember the way or work out what she's doing.
That is a 13 on a survival.
13. She's not quite as clever as she thinks she is, but she is trying to make it as confusing as possible to kind of throw you off a little bit.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, the problem is that she keeps... The plaza is right over there, and I can tell that this is like 2 alleys over.
Yeah.
She eventually comes to what looks like a rundown shack about 3 paces back that's got a condemned note on it. And she raps on the fence, and a pair of fingers pull a plank apart, and a little goblin face comes out. What's the password? You're supposed to ask for the password before you open the gate, you nimwit. Oh, there's this exchange, and they kind of lead you in. There are about 10 children in here, all of whom clearly are some form of street orphans who have gathered together for whatever reason. This is why I need so much money, because that way we have food. And there's a nice man over on Potter Street who will sell us bread at the end of the day, and providing there's no guards around.
Okay, well, that sounds like that's very nice of him. And you guys all live here all the time?
Yeah, we've got nowhere else to go, so we thought we'd stay here until they tear this place down, and then we'll find somewhere else.
Okay.
I'm Mary, by the way.
Mary, nice to meet you, Mary. My name is Kaja.
And she lists them off. I'm not going to list all the kids off at this point, but she kind of goes through this whole sort of... And there's kids of every kind here. There's halflings and humans, and there's actually even a pixie child who clearly had found themselves here away from the local enclave. There's even a very small kobold who is about adult, but clearly is pretending to still be a child so that he can stay with his mates.
No. Is there I don't know if there's anything within my job or my organization that means that I could like have someone watch over these guys or give them like a safe house. I don't know if there's anything that I could do in terms of my job to help them out.
Well, you could let your current handler know, and they will make sure that these kids are taken care of in the best way. And
So I just report that back to the handler, and they'll
like you're supposed to be looking after like the courtesans look out for everybody, and this is the sort of thing that actually it's not all knives in the dark. This is one of the nicer bits of the job.
Yeah. So Kaja kind of like says hi to all the kids, and it's just like, Mary, can we like chat somewhere outside, or is there another room?
Yeah, we can go to my office, she says, and her office is where the beds are, and she's got a old blanket thrown up.
Oh, bless her heart.
But she just like points to the kids and says, "No one's to listen, and I'll know." And they kind of snap a sort of smart salute, and kind of scare the younger kids off a little bit. So you guys have got some space. So now you've seen everything I've got to show you and why I steal, so you don't have to watch me anymore.
That's true. I don't need to keep watching you. Do you like helping people? You like looking after all the kids here?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty big job, and you're only one person. You could just, if you stole that money and kept it for yourself, you wouldn't have to share it, and you could buy more stuff and live somewhere nicer. And
My dad didn't have a lot, but he always said before he died that you should give to others when you can. So.
Great, that is the right answer. Well, I have a proposition for you if you are interested. I work for a group of people, and our job is helping other people like you and the other people here who are down on their luck or struggling. We make sure that those people are safe and looked after. We all have a range of abilities that we use to help people, lots of different skills, and we picked you because we can see you seem quite skilled, and with a little training and finessing, maybe not trusting every single person you meet on the street, we think that maybe you could work for us someday.
To be honest, I don't trust everybody out on the street. I just didn't know how to get rid of you.
I will take that as a compliment. Thank you.
You're quite scary when you want to be.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Okay. So this is like a paid job, yeah?
Yeah. So, you'll still be helping people, but we'll pay you to do it, and we'll train you up to make sure that you don't get caught and you're doing things safely and properly. And you'll have a group of people behind you to help you if you do get caught or something goes wrong.
Can I keep an eye on them too?
I mean, yeah, I'm going to report it back so that we'll make sure that someone is watching over them anyway. But, while you're training, if you can't be there, someone else will be. But I'm sure you can keep coming by and making sure everyone's okay.
All right, then. You've got a deal.
Great. You made my job super easy. Thank you.
So she spits on her hand in a way that is common and holds it out to shake.
Yeah, sure. Kaja's down. She'll spit on her hand and shake hands with Mary.
So I guess I'll see you again.
Yeah, I'll come pay you a visit when we know what's going on.
Okay. Well, I'll keep the kids here, but we will go and get some food this evening. So, yeah.
Yeah, you've got enough money for that from today?
She kind of opens up the purse. She goes, yeah. She goes, shows you a little bit. That man's an idiot.
Yeah, wearing your purse just right out in the open is almost asking for it. Not quite, but you got to be smart with your money.
Did you see his trousers? They were all paisley. It was really easy to spot him as well.
I know. I think they think that if they stand out, then it makes them look more fancy and expensive, but what it makes them look like is a target. So
yeah. I like you, and I'm really pleased that I trusted you.
I mean, yeah, you made a good call. So, yeah, you're all right.
Amazing. I think you spend a little time with them, kind of assessing what their needs are and things like that. And you eventually wander back to where you are staying, which is a small inconspicuous hotel just outside the market square. And on your pillow is a familiar looking letter with handwriting you know quite well. You open it up and it is an invitation to come back to Tenfalls with a dance card indicating that you're actually urgently requested.
Perfect. Kaja's been waiting for her next mission. She is ready.
This was not what she thought she was signing up for.
No.
That just leaves one individual. Our wonderful Skia. Hi, welcome back. It has been too long.
Oh, I'm so happy to be back.
Our eyes are drawn to a little vessel travelling eastward out of the evergloom of the region known as Curse Hollow. So I'm just going to turn the music down my side, it's a bit loud, sorry. There we go, right. Small by military standards, this vessel has been altered for speed and manoeuvrability and reinforced with its hull with iron and ether engines designed to lift and propel. Along the side, an expert hand has etched a brass and silvery steel the image of a long drake. Several deep red banners depicting the similar creature hang from the mast and the rails. This is the Wyville, the newly acquired home away from home for the mercenary troop known as Ossir's Drakes. Presently, the troop in its now larger complement lays around the deck as the ship crew busy themselves around them. It has been a hard but rewarding few weeks for the Drakes, and they are all looking forward to a couple of weeks before their next mission. At the front of the boat, we see the 5 de facto leaders of this branch of the Drakes. First, a tall, dusk-skinned half-elf with soft red-brown beard and brilliant blue eyes. Sitting opposite him are 2 huge humans, one male, one female, both obviously twins, currently engaged in one of their tussles over something unimportant. A 4th figure would raise eyebrows in most lands, a muscular, bestial figure standing, smiling at the foolishness of his friends, removing heavy plate mail, and finally, our eyes settle on a pink-skinned tiefling. Michelle, for those who have not met or would like to be reminded, please can you describe Skia and tell us a little about the Drake, what the Drakes have been up to since we last saw them?
So I think probably leaning back, watching the twins fight and giggling away, is a pink-skinned tiefling. She's got like horns that like you can see 6. Technically, there's 8 that like dot back on her head, and they're just poking out of this like thick black curly hair that has grown out a little. She wears classic edgelord clothing. Like it's like a big cloak cape thing with like a massive hood, turtleneck. She's got like those like straps all over her with like knives attached everywhere, but like just has such a like, I don't want to say like a cheeky grin on her face, as I think she's using her thaumaturgy to like whisper things into the twins' ears that like the other one is saying, just to, like see how far she can keep this going
Before they notice and hang her over the edge of the ship again.
But yeah, they've just got back from a really important mission, helping. It was to help the Gnolls, but everyone wanted to help Dustgaze because this is his thing. This is where his heart lies, and he wants to help other Gnolls. So that's what we've been doing.
It's true. You've been on a religious mission hired by a mixture of faiths, including those of Brother Sun and Sister Moon, to release and help free gnolls, those who have been removed from their curse, find their place back in this world. When it came across the desk, you all looked at Duskgaze and you saw how hopeful he was, and I don't think any of you knew how to say no. And he seems the most content you have seen him in a long time. He takes off the rest of his armor and lays out on the floor, just staring at the sky. The rest of your now expanded crew of young recruits are noisily opening up casks and celebrating the return home.
Hell yeah.
Estri walks across, leans against you and hands you a wineskin.
Oh, thank you. Well deserved, don't you think?
Anything to make the puppy's tail wag, eh?
Wait, am I the puppy?
No, he's the puppy.
Oh, you're right. I was like, what? Yeah.
You're quite clearly the gremlin, Skia.
I don't know what you mean. And then just does another whisper of like to Jaggeth of sounding like Mirren saying like, yeah, my arms are bigger.
Ashley just kind of shakes his head. So, we have some break. What are you going to do?
I don't know, drink a bit more, maybe.
Sounds good to me.
Might see the family, see how they're doing.
Yes.
I don't know. What about you?
I'm going to get as far away from those two as I possibly can because I love them to pieces, but a break is such a good idea.
And the smell.
And
right?
the smell.
Yeah.
We have a gnoll in our little mercenary troop, and they somehow managed to smell worse than him.
It's impressive, really.
Really is. Are you okay? He kind of nudges you.
Well, yeah, I'm fine. It's just, this business is tough,
Every once in a while, I can't catch you looking south,
Just want to make sure everyone's okay.
You want to see Rock, Aisling, and Eugene again.
I just wonder if they think about me, or if they're like really mad because I lied about who I was and stuff, and
Oh, I imagine Rock had the king of all hissy fits about it and then settled down. And I reckon Aisling forgot, and I think Eugene probably explained it to them.
I know, but it doesn't feel good, like lying's real fun, except when you like the people, and then it's not so fun.
So why do you keep doing it to me?
Because it's fun.
He loves. I would like you to make a perception check.
Oh, okay. I'm going to use digital dice today.
Ooh, brave.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's 21.
21, nice. Good.
Yeah.
You spot it before anyone else does. You initially think there is a little brown bird on the wind. It's quite far away from an island to be all the way out here. And then you watch as it gets closer, you can see that the way it moves is too regular, too focused to be any small bird. And you realise as it gets closer still, I think you do pull an arrow just in case. As it gets within your eye line, you realise this is a messenger bird. In fact, it's one of two winging their way to your ship on magical wings.
I just immediately give Eastry like a nudge because
he coughs as you kind of nudge him in the ribs just as he's drinking, and then kind of looks at you and then looks at what you're looking at. Oh, and both of you reach out a hand as these two brown paper birds land in your hands respectively. Oh dear.
This can't be good. I just one day off, please.
As you say that, the bird unfolds, revealing a letter in a very familiar handwriting, inviting you to a private viewing as security of a particular painting and a strange artifact and a dance card.
Oh. This can't be good.
Estri looks down at his. I guess that you and I are not getting a holiday. The twins have kind of stopped because this is hard to hide. Like it's fairly obvious, but most of your inner circle, whether they talk about it or not, they know what the two of you are by now.
Okay. I feel like the twins
Yeah.
haven't worked it out though.
No, they're just like every once in a while they get a letter and the two of them have to go off and do stuff. But Duskgaze kind of looks up and just kind of frowns ever so slightly. I shall tell the rest of the men you've gone to see your respective families.
Thank you.
And you'll join us again when you're ready.
Yeah, sorry we can't do the holiday thing. We were gonna go to the zoo. I'm really sorry about that.
I won't lie, I wasn't 100% sold on the whole zoo idea. We can still go, says Jaggeth. Miriam just kind of just goes, you are such a moron.
Oh, God can miss them.
Well, whilst we're away, Duskgaze is in charge.
Yeah.
If you have
Behave.
Yes. If you have any questions, reach out to the captain. He has your back. I guess you and I better get essentials sorted out for when we land.
Oh yeah, but first we need to cram 2 weeks holiday into what we got left.
Oh,
No?
I'm totally turning up to that meeting with a monster of a hangover.
Okay, let's go.
And the two of you kind of go below deck to get yourself sorted.
Hell yeah.
It takes you a good couple of days to get to Tenfalls. You spend some coin, teleport from different locations, and you eventually set foot on one of the most spectacular places in the Scattered Lands. Tenfalls earns its name from the fact that it is a set of islands that surround a central palace and a lake. The water from these islands come from an unnatural rift to one of the paths of water. The water flows down across them, creating 10 magical-looking waterfalls. In the center of it, the town itself, now run and gifted to Sabina Rithin, sits. One second. We will start with Delilah. You have been here a few days, relaxing in the estate as much as you can. Sabina, as always, a elegant and genteel hostess. You haven't seen much of her because she has been very busy, and she does seem somewhat preoccupied. But her staff are brilliant. The other lords and ladies that have attended this reveal, this painting, are fun, if a little foppish.
Can I just get some info? The painting is already revealed. It's just for general visiting, or
it's going to be revealed. It's she says it's the rumor is it's a brand new painting of her first love, the first Emperor Zinthat, commissioned by a upcoming artist with some beautiful skill.
Yep.
I think you are sitting in an open area, just in one of the courtyards, maybe with an afternoon cocktail or a coffee or a tea or something. Probably I've been asked to step outside if you're going to do that, please.
For God's sake, just let me smoke anywhere I want.
When a figure calmly and quietly walks in, looking for all the world like they own the place. What form is Kaja currently wearing to come back to Tenfalls?
I think probably like original Kaja, but maybe instead of her short hair, she's got like very long hair that's got a bit of a curl to it, and probably more like tailored trousers that are cinched at the waist, just like her normal self, but just like a bit more glam.
Nice.
Because why not? We're in Tenfalls now. And yeah, she's kind of walked in. It hasn't been long since she was here last, so she's pretty kind of used to being here, nice and comfortable.
Yeah. I think you, above everybody else, have a slight idea of what this might be about. You do see Delilah sitting outside. There's a few people in the courtyard, but I think your eyes settle on Delilah. And if by reputation or by personal experience, I think you know of each other.
Delilah's definitely wearing a full gown. And as always, like her kind of signature, she's sort of always, I didn't mention this at the beginning, but she's always got that strip of light across her eyes, like she's in a noir film, like she's just stepped into that light. And I think, I don't know if we've met before, but Delilah will recognize Kaja and welcome her as if they're old friends, knowing what she knows about her. Darling, wonderful to see you again. Do come in.
Hi.
We have wine or cocktails. What would you like? Just
cocktails, something exciting and strong.
kind of nod to someone that's nearby. I don't know.
One of the staff who's just kind of steps out. It's one of those places. Sabina's got one of those places that there's always someone from the battle staff.
Yeah.
Whatever it is that I've got, make her one of those. It's got lychee in it. I think it's lychee. Delicious. Very, very good.
Okay, sure. I'm game. I'll try that.
How have you been? Where have you been?
Well, here mostly. I've just spent a bit of time in insert town name here because Alicia's got a terrible memory.
I hear it's wonderful this time of year.
Yeah, it's cute. Just little recruitment, little exploring.
Thala.
How about you? There we go.
Well, wonderful as and I start talking about some artisanal person that's been going through the capital, and I've been buying things for other people, gifts, and I sort of don't give any real information away because I'm talking about frivolous nonsense, but it fills time and makes people feel comfortable. And there was this bird cage,
Kaja would maybe insight the waffling to see whether this is like anxious waffling or if it's like kind of, because as this person just come in and been like, oh, it's good to see you again, and Kaja's like, we've never met, huh? Just going along with it.
Like, I know who you are, but I've not met you.
But it's like, are you anxious? Is that's why you're doing this? And just to get a sense, because
Love. Give me an insight roll, and Delilah, either a persuasion or a deception check based on what you think your behavior is about.
That is a 16 on an insight.
Okay.
25.
No idea.
I like people to be at ease, and I like people to feel like we're firm friends immediately.
Okay, nice.
I think that's really good. I think you're chatting away when the pair of you notice, almost don't notice because has a habit, a much younger looking woman kind of slinking into the estate. How would Sybilla enter this strange place that she's not actually been to before and only heard about in reputation?
So she is slinking. She is doing her absolute best. But it would appear that this, if you looked closely and you are a perceptive bunch, The dress is probably borrowed, doesn't quite fit, and she is sweating profusely.
Oh.
But she is doing her absolute best to hold it together. There is a firm facade that isn't slipping, and she sort of gazes around the room because she doesn't know anyone, and then her eyes alight on your table, and you can see just a glint of fangirl in her eye before she squashes it down and makes her way over to you.
Amazing.
Would it be fair to say that I'm doing that thing that I often do where I'm like scanning for the psyches in the room?
Yeah. What's Sybilla's surface thoughts at the moment? Don't have to go too deep, but just kind of like her general demeanor and maybe a couple of things that she's thinking to herself.
The stream of consciousness is something like, back straight, don't be weird, just figure out where you're going to sit down and wait. You've been to parties before, stop being insane. And so that's just sort of running on a kind of general loop.
Oh.
Great. I think as I kind of get that loop, I seamlessly sort of do exactly the same thing, which is, so as she comes near, I just open up the conversation and hand her a plate of like, I don't know, like a chopped apple or something.
Crudités, say something.
And just to start including her in this like bizarre conversation about a gilded birdcage. They can have confused looks, but I'm just treating them like old friends immediately.
She's super grateful. She takes the apple, she nibbles it quietly. She assumes that this is what she's supposed to be doing, and it's going fine.
I think Kaja senses the kind of nervousness and is just like, hey, this place isn't nearly as fancy as it seems. You don't need to panic. You're all good.
Oh, I'm not panicking.
No, not at all. But just in case, I like to make sure people know if they were to panic.
Oh, of course. Good. Oh, yeah, because, I mean, there's people over there that look like they're really not fitting in, but no one here, obviously. What do you do again? Sorry, I missed it.
Lots of stuff. Bits and bobs.
I mean, I'm a lady of leisure, darling. I would never do anything.
So, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but all of you are skilled in a language built around the courtesan, which is nods and inclinations. It's very much like thieves' cant, but it's more of a cipher of words. So if you kind of get enough time around each other, you can definitely all tell each other that you are courtesans without letting slip to others who are not. If you wish to.
I mean, it's canon that handing someone a sliced apple is cipher 4. I'm a courtesan.
The weirdest, most unsubtle cipher.
Every time you need to tell someone you just need to get an apple out and start slicing it manically and handing it.
Yeah, what's brilliant is apples were not being served. They were very sophisticated canapes. You were like, no, I've got an apple in my pocket. Like it's really well prepared.
The three of you chat, and I think eventually you work out you are sitting with the people you think you are sitting with. And it's about this time that two figures who definitely don't look like they belong as much as everybody else, but don't really seem to care, kind of stroll up. The first is a tall, half-elven man who is not hiding who he is. He has sort of dusk blue skin, quite bright eyes, and we've got to the point now where he's had to trim it. A beard of soft red, like fur, facial fur. And next to him, chatting quite happily. In fact, I think, Sybilla, you immediately recognise your childhood friend, Estri, one of the people who brought you in to the courtesans. Walking with him, kind of probably interlocked, teasing him at the same time as she's walking, is a pink tiefling with a broad grin who Delilah and Kaja definitely know and have definitely worked with in the past. Looking all for the world like she's wandered off the street and just come up to see what's going on at this place.
Angel, come this way. We're drinking lychee something or other.
Oh my god, this is gonna be so much fun! And I just grab Easter and give him a look of like, this is gonna be so much fun. Come!
And kind of looks around the company, goes, I'm dead already.
Yeah.
Kind of wanders up and goes, Sybilla, hello, it's been a while.
So, Sybilla's demeanour changes somewhat, and she stands up much straighter and somehow tries to look older than she is. And so it's like, oh, hi, Estri, how's everything? Oh, who's this?
Please, can I insight check?
Yeah,
Please.
can I as well? Can I get the surface thoughts?
Yeah, we're all inside. We're all like, what's happening, hon? You good?
I didn't do great. That's a 14.
I
Fuck,
mean,
insight.
a deception or persuasion based on what you're trying to do.
I got a 26.
26,
Oh.
nice. Ooh, I love the big rolls.
Gonna roll my deception, but I'm in, yeah, it's an 8.
You're hoping the dice do that to you.
Because you're ever so perceptive, you get the impression that they've known each other for a long time, and that he's known her since she was a child. But she's trying desperately not to be a child in his eyes anymore.
That's
Because
very
she
cute.
quite fancies him. He's her brother's her older brother's friend.
Oh, sure.
And so he's like been around her family home a lot and stuff. And so it's this kind of like desperately attempting to
Impressed.
be normal.
Quick DM question.
Yeah.
Has Eastry ever mentioned Sybilla before?
Yes, you know that when you've had a moment to talk about what you do for the courtesans and those quiet moments you're actually allowed to share things, he did mention that he recruited his best friend's sister, someone with incredible skills who was just needed pointing in a better direction. He sounds like he's very fond of her.
Then Skia is going to be an absolute shitbag. And be like, oh my god, Sybilla, right? Hi, lovely to meet you. Eastry talks about you all the time.
What? I'm going to die. I'm going to die.
I think this is going to be fun.
Does he know?
Delilah,
All good, I hope.
a absolute pleasure as always. He kind of bows gently and kisses your hand. And Kaja, please don't punch me. Last time my black eye took a week to fix. But it is really
I mean,
good.
I warned you. You had fair warning.
Fair enough. I am also made of paper, so... So, are we getting drunk, or has her ladyship
Well-
actually got something for us to do?
I mean, we've been waiting for Skia, late as per. So we've just been drinking to kill the time.
No.
I mean, that does sound like Skia. No, I mean...
Right?
He's never done anything wrong ever.
Thank you, Delilah. Also, Eastry, you walked in with me. If I'm late, you're late.
I mean, of course I'm late. I'm fashionable.
Sure, that's all pulling it. Wait, but we're all on security duty, right?
Ishi kind of looks at the drink and goes, ugh, I hope not.
I mean, I didn't get too much of a detailed memo.
That always worries me more when she doesn't tell you things, because that means that she can't tell you things.
It's the job,
Yeah. Congratulations, Sybilla. If you have been called to the Tenfalls, that means you are doing very well. Kind of raises a drink.
Never in doubt, of course.
Not by me.
And she raises a glass.
So, what has everyone been doing? Who have we killed recently?
Skia's just gonna nuzzle her way in next to Delilah and just cuddle up next to her hello.
Yeah, we kind of link arms, and I'm wondering if no, I won't quite do it yet. Well, apparently Kaja's been busy doing a little recruiting, which sounds
Nice.
very, very interesting. You know, I've bored these poor women to tears with my shopping details, but you always have a far more interesting tale to tell. So maybe, you know, Eastry, why don't you fill us in?
Skia and I have been taming wild gnolls for a friend.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Paid well too. It's always good.
And
Oh,
Easter only went down like 3 times.
That is true. One of them because I let him.
Like a tactical feint, right?
I think there's a kind of just a wry smile. And Sybilla, anything that you can share with us? I know that sometimes we stick closer to the shadows depending on what we're up to.
Nothing I care to share. Just that we have gained some leverage.
Always nice to hear.
Oh, she's good. She loves quick.
I know she's got the whole like sexy, mysterious thing down.
Yeah.
I'm into it. Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much the watchword for what we do.
Like immediate blush.
Yeah.
I have a question. I know certain people do hide what they are a little bit. Does Sybilla hide her heritage when she's in this sort of situation? It's harder for her to hide than, say, some others, but...
I think it's a sort of evolving bravery for her. So like it depends on you know how much she's feeling her oats on a given day.
Yeah.
Whether she's willing to have the fight, or to like put a target on her back. Today, not so much, I think, because this is a lot of new for her. There's a lot of stuff going on, and it's always kind of a thing, like first thing in the morning where she's like today are we being our true selves, or are we putting something else on?
Yeah, I completely...
Yeah, her ears are tucked into her hair at the moment.
Yeah. But I think, if I may, when you say about we've gained some leverage, there's almost this unconscious, like, touch. And I think those of you with a passive perception above 15 can just about make out the point of an elvish ear. And at that point, you kind of, those of you who don't know Sybilla so well, she is definitely an elf. She's passing very well as a human, just a very elegant human, but she is definitely an elf. You sit around, you talk for a little while, you catch up with yourself. There's probably some ribbing from both Estri and Skia, some pointed commentary from Delilah, some deep fun from Kaja, and maybe a little nervousness about whether you're supposed to be here or not from Sybilla. But eventually a handsome-looking man in the estate doublet comes up to your table. I am very sorry to interrupt, but my ladyship would like to talk to all of you if you could spare her a moment.
Of course. Mm-hmm.
He leads you in through different areas and out through into like private chambers at the back of the palace. Because this is practically a palace. This place that the Emperor gave her is large, it's ornate. And as soon as you get past this little barrier, you kind of get the sense of this is actually where Sabina lives. It's much more wholesome, centered, organized. Everything else is for everybody else to to look at and be in wonders with. This is the practical things of the ex-royal courtesan. She herself is sitting in a comfortable leather chair. She is wearing her normal red gown, which is draped over, loose-fitting in all the right places, but tight so that it holds her shape. She still looks the same as she has the whole time that all of you have known her. A woman in the early parts of her later years, her hair touched with silver, just the right level of lines, but still absolutely breathtaking and very assured of herself. She smiles, folds her book down, and places it off to one side. Please pull up a chair. Henry, can you please bring me the object wrapped in the black silk next to my bedside table? Henry bows and disappears for a second. I am very sorry to have interrupted you all. Some of you on very deserving rests, some of you on other missions that you were probably enjoying at that time. But trust me when I say I would not have called you away if it were not of the utmost urgency. I have before me 5 of my most skilled and devoted dancers. Some of you are younger, and her eyes do touch on Sybilla, but have shown so much promise that I am willing to trust you with something deeply important. Some of you have proven yourself time and time again, but this will still be challenging, I am certain. It's about this time that Henry comes back and he has a black silk scarf around a solid object, which he then puts on a table. Without any pomp or ceremony, Sabina stands up, walks up, and whips away the cloth, revealing an ugly-looking, draconic wooden mask, which Kaja has seen before. This is the first time the rest of you have seen them. Do any of you know what this is? You may all roll a history check, and Delilah, because of your background, you may replace your intelligence with charisma if you wish.
Ooh. That's a 12, a 13 minus 1.
Respect.
Same.
It's a mask in the shape of a dragon?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
really.
24.
24. Delilah, I think even you and how poised and composed you are cannot help but stifle a gasp. This is indeed a dragon mask from the wars before the formation of the Empire. You were all taught growing up that the Empire was formed because the first Emperor saw that the Dragon Lords of the North, with their vast power, were hurting the people they were supposed to protect. That their use of artifacts like this one in front of you was manipulating dragons as tools and weapons. When the Empire came together, these masks were gathered together and destroyed. Not one of them should exist.
How do you have this?
Kaja, are you willing to explain, or I'm quite happy to?
I found it. There was someone who was involved in some kind of smuggling ring. So, went and took her down, and it was just amongst all the stuff that she was smuggling. I don't know what it is.
This mask, and she explains that story, which I've just kind of put forward for Lydia. So you can understand that when my first love told me they were all destroyed, I believed him. Not one was left behind. It was too risky, too dangerous, and our peace with the great worms that live through our lands is tantamount to it. If the dragons suspect for 1 second that any of us have one of these, it'll make the Cult of the Dragon event and Tharsik's attack on Curse Hollow seem like a minor scuffle.
Is this definitely one from like back then, or could this be one that's like new and someone's made?
That is my thought as well. I suspect this is new. It doesn't seem good enough to warrant it. My problem is I have 2 directions I need to chase this in. Belden Mardis was the young lady that we captured, a former courtesan who turned on us. She is being dealt with, but we have managed to extract some information from her. We know where this mask and others like it were heading. I would like you to find them and remove them from play, either by bringing them back here so we can destroy them, or ensuring that they hit the sky shield and burst into whatever's left.
Would it be safe to do that?
I think it's safer than leaving them lying around, certainly, but you must, when you encounter them, decide of what state they should remain for your travels.
Do we know how many there are that we need to find?
No.
Great, love that.
About as much as I do. What Belden was able to tell us is that they are being shipped through the estate of Daniel Lardrin. Now, Delilah, I think your ears immediately pick up. Daniel is a loyalist through and through. His family did as well as yours did, from like talking up and supporting, and actually in the very first wars against the Dragon Lords, offering their blades before the rest of their nation. The barony that he was given is in a place called Clement, which is a nice set of islands that live right in the middle of the southern flow in Arthadil. It's one of the few places in that far north in the Empire that's pleasant to live.
Yeah. So why would somebody so loyal to the Empire be messed up in all of this?
Either he doesn't know, or he thinks he's doing the Empire a favour. I would like to subtly find out which it is before I have him brought in for questioning. As you may know, the good Baron is a purveyor of artifacts, trinkets, antiquities, and eccentricities. He often sells such goods from his estate in public parties that he sells tickets to. I would like 4 of you to infiltrate, investigate his estate, find these masks, and destroy them. Find out if he's involved, and if he is, who he is selling them to and why. If he isn't involved, I would like to know who is doing this under his nose and why. She looks at Estrie. Unfortunately, my friend, I have a different mission for you. Your face is not as well known in Vadaract. Kaja and Skia have spent much more time down there. I would like you to head up the team that investigate where this is coming from. Find out which of our allies has a leak and a problem, and let's see if we can help them plug it before it starts causing a very big problem. Estri kind of looks at you all and goes, that's not quite as much fun as I was hoping it was going to be, but of course, my lady. It will be my honour. Skia.
Can Skia just do an insight check on this? Just
Yeah, absolutely. I just dumped a load of information on you. Seems more than fair.
you know when you like the teacher breaks up you and your friend in class, and you're like,
yeah.
"Have I done something wrong?"
Yeah.
17.
17. No, she trusts both you and Estri. I mean, it's obvious she trusts you and Estri.
Yeah.
Like the missions that she sent the two of you. It's not that she wants to break you up. It's that she has no choice in this.
Yeah, cool.
She knows that you and Kaja have been seen that far south a lot more publicly than he has. So he's a wiser choice in that regard.
Yeah, that makes sense. I also think just in general, Skia's been very quiet throughout all of this. Like, I think for people who haven't met Skia before, that like really fun like jabbing vibe just immediately stopped as soon as we entered this room. So she's just been like watching everything.
Do we have any questions?
As far as I'm concerned, you can consider it done.
Brilliant.
Right, ladies? And she sort of turns around.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you need funds or you need supplies, please let us know. We can provide as much as we can. I have a gift for all four of you. And she claps her hands, and her manservant reappears. And he has, clutching it, 5 identical parcels, which he passes out to each of you. Inside, you find a robe that kind of drapes over you, made of like this slightly metallic material. This is a very special shift weave. Not only will it allow you to change the appearance of what you're wearing, it provides a little bit of extra defense. And then she kind of smiles at Kaja. Saves you having to stuff people in lockers quite as much.
Oh, yeah. Super helpful. Is he okay? I think he's okay, right? Yeah, he's probably fine.
I'd like to say I care, but I think his life is his own.
Well, someone's got to have it.
The other item is a small platinum ring. This ring probably will not be as useful for all of you as it is for some, but will come in use for your mission. This ring is specifically designed for missions such as yours. While wearing this, you can all cast the message cantrip to another wearer of this ring, or all wearers of this ring within 100 feet of yourself. In addition, it cannot be detected by magic, and if you speak, and she speaks a word in Draconic, and the ring that she's holding vanishes in her finger.
Fancy.
All of you consider yourselves promoted. It's a lot more work, but you are more than deserving of it. You are now dancers of the courtesans, my elite and trusted Skia,
Yeah.
I would like you to run point on this mission. Trust your fellow courtesans, listen to them, but in the result of a decision that needs to be made, yours must be the voice that makes it. I do this not because I do not trust the rest of you, but someone must be the single point for a
Perfect
difficult choice.
Mm-hmm.
I will leave you to discuss and get ready. I have a painting of my lover to reveal to the world. I had to paint. Do you have any idea how much difficult it is to find a painter at this notice to paint a portrait just to cover a meeting like this? My darlings, I have every faith in your abilities. I know you will do me proud. Good luck.
Thank you.
And with that,
Thank you.
she bows her head respectfully and steps out of the room. And I think that's a really nice place for us to break for our first episode.
Oh,
Welcome, welcome together, SKIA'S sweethearts. Awesome.
I'll make it Delilah's dancers by the end.
Yes,
By
you
all
should
means.
not be in charge.
Yeah, when Skia got put in charge, Kaja definitely just like winked at her like,
No.
I think even Estru is just like, really? Oh wow, I'm missing out.
Yeah. Skia would have definitely looked at Ishri like, no, I always follow you. You tell me what to do. No.
This has been a lot of fun. Part 2 will be next week. Please check out our description below. I have all the tags and details for these wonderful people and where you can find them. SKIA'S sweethearts will return next week.